This video is sponsored by Box, the online technology store. Visit box.co.uk for the best deals on TVs, soundbars, and all your other technology needs. Hello everyone, my name is Vincent Teo. LG is well known for its OLED TVs, but the South Korean brand sells LED LCDs too, including this Nano90 we're reviewing today. It is marketed as a Nanocell TV, which doesn't use quantum dot technology, but LG displays own proprietary light-absorbing molecular material to achieve wider color gamut. Our review sample is the 65-inch version, model number LG65 Nano906NA, which commands a street price of £1,100, basically half the price of a 65-inch C10 OLED. The LG Nano90 uses the company's Alpha 7 Gen 3 processor, codenamed K6HP in the service menu. Ironically, this chipset allowed for the full HDMI 2.1 bandwidth of 48 gigabits per second, although only on two HDMI ports, namely HDMI 3 and HDMI 4, compared with the more advanced Alpha 9 Gen 3 processor implemented on the CX and GX OLED. As can be expected from an LG LED LCD television, the Nano90 uses an IPS-type LCD panel with true RGB subpixel structure, which delivers wider viewing angles at the expense of black level performance. With peak white aligned to 120 candelas per square meter on this 4x4 ANSI checkerboard pattern, we measured native black level to be 0.11 candelas per square meter with LED local dimming switched off. Engaging local dimming did not improve ANSI blacks substantially, settling at a mediocre 0.1 candelas per square meter even on the high setting. Using our own custom-authored test pattern consisting a small white box crawling horizontally and then vertically against the borders of a black background, we counted 4 vertical columns and 8 horizontal rows, giving us a total of 32 independently dimmable zones, the local dimming equivalent of ending up with a solid 6 on the pool. The local dimming algorithm on the Nano90 left a lot to be desired. First, just like what we encountered 6 years ago when we tested LG's first 4K TV, the backlight would completely switch off below a certain APL threshold, causing picture information to be discarded. Here, we are displaying a 2% above black window against a black background, and the LG Nano90 was just showing it as pure black until we summoned our 4K Blu-ray player UI with brighter elements on screen. Due to the grayish-blacks of IPS-type LCD panel, the scene from Gravity appeared murky with a distinct lack of depth, exhibiting some backlight fluctuations as Sandra Bullock is hurtling through space. In HDR mode, the top and bottom letterbox bars never looked anywhere close to black. But ironically, because the minimum luminance level of IPS is higher than VA panels, they appeared to be a bit less blooming than the Sony XH90 or XH95. In this challenging campfire scene from The Revenant, the halation and particularly backlight fluctuations became extremely distracting in a dark room, betraying both the low zone count and ineffective local dimming algorithm. Color accuracy was excellent after calibration, with average delta errors of less than 1, and no inaccuracies exceeding the humanly perceptible threshold of delta error 3, translating to natural colors and realistic skin tones in real-world content, although there's still a mild lack of pop owing to IPS LCD blacks. As expected for a sample and hold display, motion resolution came in at a baseline number of 300 lines with all motion settings disabled. Engaging true motion would boost motion resolution all the way to 1080 lines, and the LG Nano90 exhibited little to no black smearing, which is more common on rival VA LCDs. Black frame insertion is activated by the Motion Pro control, but because it introduced visible flicker, especially in bright scenes, we preferred to leave it off. The LG 65 Nano90 applied 5.5 pull-down correctly to remove telecinic judder once Real Cinema was enabled, but there's a problem in usability terms. Because film mode interlacing was also incorporated into the Real Cinema control, engaging Real Cinema would apply film mode interlacing even for video-based content, introducing noticeable jaggies where there shouldn't be. So for the best picture, video enthusiasts need to disable Real Cinema for video-based material, but engage Real Cinema for film-based content, which is a right royal pain. Otherwise, The LG Nano90 allowed overscan to be disabled for standard definition content, which is new for 2020 sets. Upscaling quality was decent on this SMPTE RP133 test card in 576i, although there remain some junk pixels and frizziness here and there. On this 1080p test pattern from the Spears & Munsell HD benchmark disc, there is minor corruption in fine horizontal chroma detail, which dynamically changed as we highlighted different menu items. We tested the smooth gradation decontouring filter on this scene from Game of Thrones, and saw little to no difference even after giving it time to work. Screen uniformity was acceptable with no major banding or dirty screen effect, though there's obvious vignetting effect around the screen. For HDR, we were surprised that the default LED local dimming setting was low in every HDR and even Dolby Vision picture preset, which generated a peak brightness of around 420 nits. Switching LED local dimming to high increased peak brightness to 465 nits, which could be sustained for 1 minute before dropping to 260 nits. Full field brightness came in at 360 nits. DCI-P3 color gamut coverage measured 93% UV, while Rec 10-20 was 69%. Because LED LCDs are not restricted by ABL or automatic brightness limiter, bright sequences looked sufficiently impactful on the Nano90, but dark and moderately bright scenes would betray the underlying IPS LCD panel, exhibiting grayish top and bottom letterbox bars, as well as a pervasive lack of contrast. While we have previously advised against using dynamic tone mapping on LG OLEDs for critical viewing, enabling this feature made sense on the Nano90 to partially compensate for the IPS panel's lower contrast range, allowing the TV to not only retain more specular highlight detail, especially in 4000 nit movies, but also bring a bit more clarity to the originally indistinct shadow detail caused by shallower blacks and LG's local dimming algorithm. Although there's some posterization in the skies of The Martian, for some reason the smooth gradation decontouring filter worked effectively here to reduce in-content posterization on the left side of the screen. We then played some Dolby Vision content and immediately noticed that bright specular highlights appeared dimmer than playing the same content in HDR10, as the Dolby Vision mapping engine tried to fit the high-nit content within the LG Nano90's limited dynamic range, with the primary purpose of reproducing the creator's intent, but with lackluster result. With game mode or ALLM engaged, input lag measured 16.5 milliseconds at 60 Hz with LED local dimming disabled, going up slightly to 20 milliseconds once LED local dimming was engaged. Thanks to the 48 gigabits per second full HDMI 2.1 ports on HDMI 3 and 4, the LG Nano90 supports 4K at 120 Hz at 12-bit 444 chroma, as well as HDMI Forum VRR and FreeSync, but not G-Sync. Even though we managed to run NVIDIA's Pendulum demo, it's operating on the open standard HDMI Forum VRR according to this secret FreeSync infobar. Just like on the LG CX, enabling AMD Freesync will disable Dolby Vision due to a change in EDIT configuration. High and wide presumably refers to the VRR range. I keep seeing some people claiming that only FreeSync will allow for LFC or low frame rate compensation. That's incorrect. LFC is 100% GPU driven, and it's just AMD's marketing term to mean that the display's highest refresh rate is between 2 to 2.5 times the lowest refresh rate. All VRR GPUs, including G-Sync, will already double or triple the frame rate by default if it's lower than the VRR range. It is not a technology that's exclusive to AMD Freesync, so even if you disable Freesync for C10 and Nano90 owners, or don't have Freesync for C9 owners, you're still going to get low frame rate compensation, just not AMD's marketed version. With that out of the way, let's sum up. The LG 65 Nano90 may be tempting to some buyers on a budget. It features two full bandwidth HDMI 2.1 ports that support all the key gaming features for pairing up with the Sony PS5 and Xbox Series X, and is basically half the price of a C10 or CX OLED of the same size. However, the Nano90 is let down by its IPS LCD panel and strange local dimming algorithm, so potential buyers would probably be better served by the Sony XH90 or X900H, which features a VA-type LCD panel with deeper blacks, superior local dimming algorithm, better screen uniformity, higher peak brightness, and cost only £100 to £200 more. If you would like to watch some of our technical TV reviews, we've compiled a playlist here. And here's another playlist of our technical TV comparisons if you would like to click there too. And I'll see you in the next video.